Dinner time, Isaiah 23. The message concerning Sor. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, for it has been destroyed without house, without harbor. For the land of Kittim, it has been revealed to them. Be silent, you inhabitants of the coastland, you merchants of Sidon, who passed over the sea, they filled you. And on great waters the grain of Sihor, the harvest of the river, was her increase, and she was a marketplace for the nations. Be ashamed, O Sidon, for the sea has spoken, the stronghold of the sea, saying, I have not labored, nor brought forth children, neither have I reared young men, brought up maidens. Like the report of Misraim, they too are grieved at the report of Sor. Pass over to Tarshish. Wail, you inhabitants of the coastland. Is this your city of revelry, whose antiquity is from days of old, whose feet carried her off to sojourn? Who has counseled this against Sor, the crowning city, whose merchants are chiefs, whose traders are the esteemed of the earth? Jehovah of hosts has counseled it, to defile the pride of all splendor, and to shame all the esteemed of the earth. Overflow through your land like the river, O daughter of Tarshish. There is no more strength. He has stretched out his hand over the sea. He shook the rains. Jehovah has given a command against Canaan to destroy its strongholds. And he said, Never again shall you exult, O you oppressed maiden daughter of Sidon. Arise, pass over to Kittim, even there you shall find no rest. See the land of Kittim, this people did not exist. Ashur founded it for wild beasts of the desert. They set up their siege towers. They demolished their palaces and made her a ruin. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, for your stronghold is laid waste. And in that day it shall be that Sor is forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one sovereign. And at the end of 70 years it shall be to Sor, as in the song of the whore. Take a lyre, go about the city, you forgotten whore. Make sweet playing, sing many songs, so that you might be remembered. At the end of 70 years it shall be that Jehovah visits Sor, and she shall return to her harlot fee, and commit whoring with all the rains of the earth on the face of the soil. And her goods and her harlot fee shall be set apart for Jehovah, not treasured nor laid up, for her gain is for those who dwell before Jehovah, to eat sufficiently and for a choice covering. See, Jehovah is making the earth empty and making it waste, and shall overturn its surface, and shall scatter abroad its inhabitants. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the female servant, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the creditor, so with the debtor. The earth is completely emptied and utterly plundered, for Jehovah has spoken this word. The earth shall mourn and wither, the world shall languish and wither. The haughty people of the earth shall languish. For the earth has been defiled under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the Torah, changed the law, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse shall consume the earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth shall be burned, and few men shall be left. The new wine shall fail, the vine shall languish, all those glad at heart shall sigh. The joy of the tambourine shall cease. The noise of those who rejoice shall end. The joy of the lyre shall cease. No more do they drink wine with a song. Strong drink is bitter to those who drink it. The deserted city shall be broken down. Every house shall be shut. No one enters. There is crying for wine in the streets. All joy shall be darkened. The gladness of the earth shall be gone. The city is left in ruins, and the gate is stricken with destruction. For thus it is to be in the midst of the earth, among the peoples, like the shaking of an olive tree, like the gleaning of grapes when the grape harvest is done. They lift up their voice, they sing of the excellency of Jehovah. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Therefore praise Jehovah in the east, the name of Jehovah, Elohim of Yisrael, in the coastlands of the sea. From the ends of the earth we shall hear songs. Splendor to the righteous one. But I say, I waste away, woe to me. The treacherous betray with treachery, the treacherous betray. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitants of the earth. And it shall be that he who flees from the noise of the fear falls into the pit, and he who comes up from the midst of the pit is caught in the snare. For the widows from on high shall be opened, and the foundations of the earth shall be shaken. The earth shall be utterly broken, the earth shall be completely shattered, the earth shall be fiercely shaken. The earth shall stagger like a drunkard, and it shall totter like a hut. And its transgression shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And in that day it shall be that Jehovah punishes on high the host of exalted ones, and on the earth the sovereigns of the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and be punished after many days. And the moon shall blush, and the sun shall be ashamed, for Jehovah of hosts shall reign on Mount Sion, and in Yerushalayim, and before his elders in esteem. O Jehovah, you are my Elohim. I exalt you. I praise your name, for you shall do a wonder, counsels of long ago, trustworthiness, truth. For you shall make a city a heap, a walled city a ruin, a palace of foreigners to be a city no more, never to be rebuilt. Therefore, a strong people praise you. The city of the ruthless nations fear you. For you shall be a refuge to the poor, a refuge to the needy in his distress, a shelter from the storm, a shade from the heat. For the spirit of the ruthless is like a storm against a wall. You subdue the noise of foreigners as heat in a dry place, as heat in the shadow of a cloud. The singing of the ruthless is subdued. And in this mountain Jehovah of hosts shall make for all people a feast of choice pieces, a feast of old wines, of choice pieces with marrow, of old wines well refined. And he shall swallow up on this mountain the surface of the covering which covers all people, and the veil which is spread over all nations. He shall swallow up death forever, and the Master Jehovah shall wipe away tears from all faces, and take away the reproach of his people from all the earth, for Jehovah has spoken. And it shall be said in that day, see, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him, and he saves us. This is Jehovah. We have waited for him. Let us be glad and rejoice in his deliverance. For the hand of Jehovah rests on this mountain, and Moab is trodden down under him, as straws is trodden down in the water of a dunghill. And he shall spread out his hands in their midst, as he who swims spreads out his hands to swim. And he shall bring down their pride together with the skill of his hands. And the high stronghold of your walls he shall bring down, lay it low, leveled to the ground, down to the dust. In that day this song is sung in the land of Yehuda. We have a strong city. He sets up deliverance, walls and ramparts. Open the gates, let the righteous nation, which guards the truth, enter in. The one steadfast of mind you guard in perfect peace, for he trusts in you. Trust in Jehovah forever, for in Jehovah is a rock of ages. For he shall bring down those who dwell on high. He lays the exalted city low. He lays it low to the earth. He brings it down to the dust. A foot tramples it down, feet of the poor, footsteps of the needy. The path of the righteous is uprightness. O upright one, you weigh the course of the righteous. Also in the path of your right ruling, O Jehovah, we have waited for you. The longing of our being is for your name and for the remembrance of you. My being longs for you in the night. Also, my spirit within me seeks you earnestly. For when your right rulings are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world shall learn righteousness. The wrong finds favor, yet he shall not learn righteousness. In the land of straightforwardness, he acts perversely and does not see the excellency of Jehovah. O Jehovah, your hand is high. They do not see. They see the ardor of the people and are ashamed. Also let the fire of your adversaries consume them. O Jehovah, you establish peace for us. You have also done all our works in us. O Jehovah, our Elohim, other masters besides you have had rule over us. Only in you do we make mention of your name. The dead do not live, the departed spirits do not rise. Therefore you have visited and destroyed them and made all their remembrance to perish. You shall increase the nations, O Jehovah. You shall increase the nation. You are esteemed. You shall expand all the borders of the land. O Jehovah, in distress they shall visit you. They shall pour out a prayer when your disciplining is upon them. As a woman with child and about to give birth writhes and cries out in her pain, so shall we be before your face, O Jehovah. We have conceived, we writhed in pain, we have given birth to wind. We have not accomplished deliverance in the earth, nor have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Let your dead live, together with my dead body, let them arise. Awake and sing, you who dwell in dust, for your dew is a dew of light, and let the earth give birth to the departed spirits. Go, my people, enter your rooms, and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as if it were, for a little while, until the displeasure is past. For look, Jehovah is coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their crookedness. And the earth shall disclose her blood and no longer cover her killed ones. In that day Jehovah, with his severe sword, great and strong, punishes Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, Leviathan, that twisted serpent, and he shall kill the monster that is in the sea. In that day sing to her, a vineyard of red wine. I, Jehovah, do guard it. I water it every moment. Lest any hurt it, I guard it night and day. Wrath is not in me. Who would set thorn bushes and weeds against me in battle? I would go through them, I would burn them together. Or let him take hold of my strength and make peace with me. Let him make peace with me. Those who come he causes to take root in Yaakov. Yisrael shall blossom and bud, and they shall find the face of the world with fruit. He has smitten him as he struck the ones who were striking him, or as a killer was he killed as he was killing. In measure, by sending her away, you contended with her. He shall take away by his rough wind in the day of the east wind. Therefore, by this the crookedness of Yaakov is covered, and this is all the fruit of taking away his sin, when he makes all the stones of the slaughter place like chalk stones that are beaten to dust. Asherim and sun pillars rise no more. For the city of defense is lonely, a home forsaken and left like the wilderness. There the calf feeds, and there it lies down and shall consume its branches. When its twigs are dry, they are broken off. Women come and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he who made them has no compassion on them, and he who formed them shows them no favor. And in that day it shall be that Jehovah threshes from the channel of the river to the wadi of Mizraim, and you shall be gathered one by one, O children of Yisrael. And in that day it shall be that a great shofar is blown, and those who were perishing in the land of Ashur and the outcast in the land of Mizraim shall come, and shall worship Jehovah on the set-apart mountain in Jerusalem. Woe to the proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim, and to the fading flower of its splendid comeliness that is on the head of the fertile valley, to those who are overcome with wine. See, Jehovah has one who is strong and potent, like a downpour of hail in a destroying storm, like a flood of mighty waters overflowing, who cast down to the earth with the land. The proud crown of the drunkards of Ephraim is trampled underfoot, and the fading flower of its splendid comeliness that is on the head of the fertile valley, like the first fruit before the summer, which when one sees it, he eats it up while it is still in his hand. In that day Jehovah of hosts is for a crown of splendor and a headdress of comeliness to the remnant of his people, and a spirit of right ruling to him who sits in right ruling, and strength to those who turn back the battle at the gate. And these too have gone astray through wine, and through strong drink wandered about. Priest and prophet have gone astray through strong drink. They are swallowed up by wine. They wander about through strong drink. They go astray in vision. They stumble in right ruling. For all tables shall be covered with vomit, no place without filth. Whom would he teach knowledge? And whom would he make to understand the message? Those weaned from milk, those taken from the breast. For it is command upon command, command upon command, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. For with a jabbering lip and a foreign tongue he speaks to this people. To whom he said, this is the rest, give rest to the weary, and this is the refreshing, but they would not hear. But the word of Jehovah was to them command upon command, command upon command, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, so that they go and shall stumble backward and be broken and snared and taken captive. Therefore, hear the word of Jehovah, you men of scorn, who rule this people who are in Jerusalem, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with Sheol we have affected a vision. When the overflowing scourge passes through it, it does not come to us, for we have made lying our refuge, and under falsehood we have hidden ourselves. Therefore thus said the Master Jehovah, See, I am laying in Sion a stone for a foundation, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a settled foundation. He who trusts shall not hasten away. And I shall make right ruling the measuring line, and righteousness the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lying, and the waters overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be annulled, and your vision with Sheol not stand. When an overflowing scourge passes through, then you shall be trampled down by it. As often as it passes through, it shall take you, for it shall pass through every morning, and by day and by night, and it shall be only trembling to understand the message. For the bed shall be too short for a man to stretch out on, and the covering shall be too narrow to wrap himself in it. For Jehovah rises up as the mount Peretzim, and he is wroth as at the valley of Gibbon, to do his work, his strange work, and to do his deed, his strange deed. And now, do not be scoffers, lest your bonds be made strong. For I have heard from the Master Jehovah of hosts a destruction decreed upon all the earth. Give ear and hear my voice. Listen and hear my word. Does the plowman keep plowing all day to sow? Does he keep turning his soil and breaking the clods? When he has leveled its surface, does he not sow the caraway and scatter the cumin, plant the wheat in rows, the barley in the appointed place, and the spelt in its place? For he instructs him for right ruling, his Elohim teaches him. For caraway is not threshold with a threshing sledge, nor is a wagon wheel rolled over cumin, but caraway is beaten out with a stick, and cumin with a rod. Grain is crushed, so one does not go on threshing it forever, nor break it with his wagon wheel, nor crush it with his horsemen. Even this has come from Jehovah of hosts, who did wonders in counsel, who made wisdom great. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add year to year, let festivals come around. And I shall distress Ariel, and there shall be mourning and sorrow, and it shall be to me as Ariel. And I shall encamp against you all around. I shall lay siege against you with a mound, and I shall raise siege work against you. And you shall be brought low and speak out of the ground, and your speech shall be low out of the dust, and your voice shall be like a medium's out of the ground, and your speech whisper out of the dust. But the crowd of those strange to you shall be like fine dust, and the crowd of the ruthless ones as chaff blowing away. And it shall be in an instant, suddenly, you shall be visited by Jehovah of hosts with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with whirlwind and storm and flame of devouring fire. Then the crowd of all the nations who fight against Ariel, even all who fight against her in her stronghold, and distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. And it shall be as when a hungry man dreams, and see, he eats, but he awakes, and his being is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreams, and see, he drinks, but he awakes, and see, he is faint, and his being is longing. Thus shall the crowd of all the nations be who fight against Mount Sion. Praise and wonder, blind yourselves and be blind. They are drunk, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Jehovah has poured out on you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes, the prophets, and he has covered your heads, the seers. And the entire vision is to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men give to one who knows books, saying, Read this, please. And he said, I am unable, for it is sealed. And the book is given to one who does not know books, saying, Read this, please. And he says, I have not known books. And Jehovah says, Because this people has drawn near with its mouth and with its lips, they have esteemed me, and it has kept its heart far from me, and their fear of me has become a command of men that is taught. Therefore, see, I am again doing a marvelous work among this people, a marvelous work and a wonder, and the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their clever men shall be hidden. Woe to those who seek deep to hide their counsel far from Jehovah, and their works in the dark. They say, Who sees us, and who knows us? How perverse of you! Should the potter be reckoned as the clay? Should what is made say of its maker, He did not make me, and what is formed say of him who formed it, He did not understand? Is it not yet a little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into garden land, and garden land be reckoned as a forest? And in that day the deaf shall hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of gloom and out of darkness. And the meek ones shall increase their joy in Jehovah. And the poor among men rejoice in the set-apart one of Yisrael. For the ruthless one is brought to naught, the scorner is consumed, and all who watch for evil shall be cut off. Those who make a man to sin in word, and lay a snare for him who reproves in the gate, and turn aside the righteous with empty reasoning. Therefore thus said Jehovah, who ransomed Abraham concerning the house of Yaakov. Yaakov is no longer put to shame, no longer does his face grow pale. For when he sees his children, the work of my hands, in his midst, they shall set apart my name, and set apart the set-apart one of Yaakov, and fear the Elohim of Yisrael. And those who went astray in spirit shall come to understanding, and the grumblers accept instruction.